On a quiet alien world far away from the shining stars, there lived a mother and her only child. Their home was small but warm, made from crystal stones that glowed softly at night. Every evening, the mother would sit with her child near the fire crystal, telling stories of the stars. The child loved listening, eyes wide and full of wonder, asking many questions about life beyond their world. The mother always smiled, her heart proud and full of love. The alien child was curious, always exploring the fields of glowing grass and the rivers that sang with gentle light. The mother watched with joy, remembering her own childhood. She often whispered to herself that her child was her greatest treasure. The village around them was peaceful too, filled with laughter, work, and the simple happiness of family. To the mother, life seemed safe, and nothing could break the love she shared. With her child, one morning, the sky turned golden as their twin suns rose together. The mother prepared a simple meal from fruits of the crystal trees. The child ran inside with shining eyes, carrying a small flower that glowed in the dark. "Look, Mom, it shines just like the stars," the child said, offering the flower with excitement. The mother laughed softly, kissed the child's forehead, and placed the flower in a bowl of water. Every little gift from the child felt like a blessing to her heart. In the afternoons, they often walked to the top of a hill. From there, the stars could be seen even before the night fell. The mother would hold the child's hand and speak of dreams. "One day, you will see the stars closer than I ever could," she whispered. The child always smiled, feeling safe, never imagining that life could change. The bond between them was strong, deeper than the ocean, stronger than any stone. But one evening, as the two suns sank and the sky became purple, the child sat quietly. The mother noticed, her heart quick to sense the smallest change. "What troubles you, my light?" she asked gently, brushing the child's hair away. The child shook its head and forced a smile. But deep inside, something was wrong. For the first time, the child felt a strange heaviness on the back, a dull pain that was easy to ignore. Yet, it was there like a shadow following silently. The next few days passed in calm routine, yet small signs began to appear. The child grew tired quickly, no longer running in the glowing fields as before. The mother, though worried, tried to convince herself that it was nothing. She thought, maybe her child only needed more rest, more food, more warmth. But in the secret place of her heart, a fear began to grow. She could not name it, yet it whispered to her every night, keeping her awake. Still, she tried to hide her fear. She told stories at night, singing songs to make the child sleep peacefully. She touched the child's back gently, feeling nothing unusual. And yet, the mother's soul told her something unseen was waiting. The stars, outside their home, seemed brighter but also colder. She felt as if the universe itself was holding a secret, one that was slowly reaching for her child. One day, while playing near the glowing river, the child stumbled and fell. The mother rushed to help, her hands trembling. The child looked up and said with a small laugh, "I'm fine, Mom, don't worry." But as she helped the child stand, she felt again that strange heaviness pressing under the child's clothes. Her heart raced, though she said nothing. She only hugged her child tighter, as if love alone could protect from what was coming. The peaceful life of mother and child seemed unchanged from the outside. The village laughed, the rivers sang, the suns rose and set. But inside their small home, shadows had begun to grow. The child's smile was still there, but it was weaker. The mother's eyes still shone, but they carried a hidden storm. For the mother knew deep inside that peace never lasts forever, and somewhere in the silence of the night, destiny was waiting for them both. The nights on that alien world were always quiet, filled with the soft hum of glowing insects and the gentle whisper of the rivers, but inside the small crystal home, silence felt heavy, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. The mother watched her child sleep, the child's chest rising and falling slowly. Yet the mother could not rest. Her mind was restless, her heart uneasy, as though some invisible hand was warning her. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the child's back, and the strange heaviness that seemed to follow it. Days passed, but the child grew more distant. The once playful steps turned slower, and the bright laughter that once filled the air came less often. The mother noticed every change, even when the child tried to hide it. She smiled during the day to keep her child calm, but in the night she wept silently into her hands. Fear was carving a place in her heart, and she could not stop it. Then, one night, as the twin moons painted the land in silver light, the child woke suddenly. The mother rushed close, kneeling beside the bed of glowing stones. The child's voice was soft, almost a whisper, as though afraid of being heard by the stars themselves. "Mom," the child said, eyes wide with fear. "Something is growing inside me." The words froze the mother's soul. Her breath caught, and for a long moment, she could not move. Her heart pounded like the drums of war from old stories. She touched the child's hand, which trembled as if touched by a cold wind. "What do you mean, my light?" she asked gently, trying to hide her fear. The child turned its face away, ashamed, as if speaking the truth was dangerous. "I feel it," the child whispered, "on my back like something alive. And it hurts." The mother felt her knees weaken and she almost fell. She pulled the child close, holding tightly as if her embrace could stop the change. But inside, her soul cracked, for she knew the universe had spoken through her child. A silent scream echoed in her heart, though her lips said only soft words of comfort. "You are safe, my little star, you are safe with me," she whispered again and again. That night she could not sleep. She sat by the fire crystal, staring into the light, her mind racing. She remembered the old legends whispered by the elders, stories never told to children, stories of the star-marked, children who carried strange growths and powers. Some were said to become saviors, others, monsters who destroyed everything they touched. Fear and love battled inside her. She wanted to believe her child was chosen for greatness. But the darker voice inside her heart whispered that fate could be cruel. Tears slid down her face as she thought of what might come. Her child, her treasure, was walking a path into the unknown. The next day, she tried to hide her worry. She smiled as she prepared food. She laughed at the child's small jokes, but every time her eyes drifted to the child's back, she saw the truth. The growth was there, faint but real, pressing like a shadow beneath the skin. The child noticed her staring and quickly turned away, shame filling its eyes. At night, the whispers returned. The child spoke softly, almost as if confessing a secret. "Mom, it feels like something wants to break free," the child said, tears shining in the dim light. The mother's heart shattered, and she pulled the child close. Her cry was silent, but her body trembled as though every star in the sky had turned heavy on her shoulders. She wanted to scream, to demand answers from the universe. Why her child? Why her world? Why this fate? But she could not, for she had to stay strong. She kissed the child's forehead and whispered promises she was not sure she could keep. "No matter what grows, no matter what happens, I will never leave you." Outside, the night sky glittered, endless and cold. The stars looked down like distant eyes watching but never helping. The rivers sang their gentle songs, unaware of the storm in one small home. The world remained peaceful, yet inside the crystal walls a family was breaking. For when a child whispers a secret of fear, it is not only words, it is the beginning of destiny. The alien mother had always been strong. She worked hard in the fields, carried heavy stones for their home, and protected her child from every danger. But after hearing her child whisper the secret of the growing pain, she felt weaker than ever. Her spirit was breaking, her mind drowning in fear, and her heart refusing to believe what her ears had heard. She was a mother, and yet, in this moment, she felt powerless. Every morning she woke before the twin suns rose. She watched her child sleep, fragile and innocent, unaware of how heavy her fear had become. She touched the child's hair and whispered promises that even she did not fully believe. "You are safe, you are strong, and I will never let anything harm you," she said. But the words tasted like lies, because deep inside, she knew something greater than her was at work. During the day, she tried to act normal. She cooked meals, walked with her child in the glowing fields, and smiled at the neighbors. But when her child's steps grew slower, when laughter turned to silence, her smile cracked. She wanted to scream, to cry out for help, but she could not show weakness. The village trusted her child needed her, and so she carried her pain in silence. At night, when the world slept, the mother stayed awake. She sat by the crystal fire, staring at the shadows dancing on the walls. Her thoughts returned again and again to the old legends. She remembered whispers of children who changed, who grew wings or marks of light. Some were blessed, but many were cursed, and their mothers wept until their eyes turned dry. The struggle inside her was endless. One part of her heart wanted to believe her child was chosen for greatness, that the growth on the back was a gift from the stars, a sign of destiny. But the other part of her, the darker part, feared it was a curse, a monster waiting to be born. And if that monster awoke, would she have the strength to stop it, or would her love blind her? She prayed to the stars, though the stars had never answered before. "Take me, not my child. Let my body carry this pain instead," she begged in silence. Her tears fell on. The crystal floor and the firelight made them shine like broken jewels. No answer came, only silence, cold and eternal, reminding her that mothers are often left alone with their battles. And yet even in silence she kept begging, for that was her only hope. The child, too, was struggling. Though trying to smile, the child often touched its back when it thought the mother was not looking. At times the child would wince as if a knife of fire was cutting through the skin. The mother saw it all, and every time her heart broke a little more, she wanted to carry the pain herself, but she could not. It belonged only to the child. Her fear turned into anger sometimes. Not at the child, never at the child, but at the cruel fate that dared to touch her little one. She clenched her fists, whispering to herself that she would fight the universe if she must. Yet she knew no fist, no weapon, no shield could fight what was growing inside her child. And that helplessness burned her from within. The village soon began to notice. Neighbors whispered when the child passed, their eyes filled with suspicion. They saw the tired steps, the pale glow in the child's skin, and they feared what they did not understand. One elder asked quietly if the child was sick, if something dangerous was happening. The mother lied with a calm voice. "It is nothing, only a small illness, it will pass." But in her heart she knew the truth. Nothing about this would pass. It was only beginning. Her struggle grew heavier with every passing day. She wanted to protect her child from the fear of the village, from the cold of the stars, from the truth of the change. But the weight on her shoulders became too much to hide. Sometimes she walked into the forest alone, gripping her chest, gasping for breath, whispering her sorrow to the trees. Her tears fell on the glowing soil, and the earth drank her pain silently. Still, no matter how heavy the struggle, her love was greater. When the child woke from nightmares, she was there, holding and rocking softly. When the child whispered fears, she answered with warmth, even if her voice shook. When the child asked if everything would be okay, she smiled and said yes, even though her soul screamed no. Her struggle was endless, but her love gave her strength to keep standing. One night, as the stars shone brighter than usual, the mother knelt beside her child's bed. Her hands trembled, but her eyes were fierce, filled with both fear and fire. She whispered, "No matter what grows, no matter what happens, you are mine, and I will not let go." Her cry carried through the night, a cry of pain and defiance, a cry so strong that even the stars seemed to pause. Her struggle was not over, it had only begun. But in that moment, the mother chose her path. She would fight for her child, even if it broke her, even if it destroyed her, even if it shook the universe itself. The days passed, and the secret could no longer be hidden. What began as a faint heaviness on the child's back was now clear, a small swelling beneath the skin, glowing faintly in the dark. The mother tried to cover it with clothes, wrapping soft cloths around the child, but whispers began to spread through the village. Every time they walked outside, curious eyes followed them, sharp with suspicion. The villagers did not speak openly. But the air was filled with quiet fear. The child felt it too. At first, the child tried to play as before, to laugh, to run in the glowing fields, but the energy was gone. Each day the child grew weaker, stumbling when walking, sitting down to rest more often. The mother pretended not to notice, though her heart screamed at the sight. Every stumble was like a blade through her soul. At night, the glow became stronger. The mother often woke to find her child curled on the bed of crystal, trembling. The swelling on the back pulsed with light, faint at first but growing brighter with each passing night. The mother pressed her hands against it, whispering words of comfort, though she did not know if the child believed them. The light felt alive, almost like a heartbeat, and it terrified her. Rumors began to circle among the villagers. Some said the child was cursed by the dark stars. Others claimed the child was chosen by ancient powers. The elders looked uneasy whenever the child's name was spoken. Mothers pulled their children away, fearful that the sickness, or curse, might spread. The mother stood tall in public, but inside she was breaking piece by piece. Her greatest fear was not the whispers of the villagers, but the truth she saw with her own eyes. The growth was changing, becoming sharper in outline, as though something beneath the skin was pushing to break free. Sometimes the child winced in sudden pain, clutching the bed, tears filling the eyes. The mother held tightly, rocking back and forth, whispering lullabies. But deep inside she knew something was awakening within her child, and she could not stop it. One evening, the sky turned a strange shade of red as the sun set. The mother and child sat quietly by the river, the water glowing softly beneath them. The child leaned against her, voice weak but filled with fear. "Mom, I hear something," the child whispered. "A voice in my dreams calling me." The mother froze, her heart dropping like a stone into the river. She asked what the voice said, and the child replied, "It says, I must change." Tears filled the mother's eyes, but she hid them quickly. She kissed the child's forehead and held tighter, whispering, "Do not listen, my light, do not believe it." But in her heart, she knew the voice was real, for the glow on the child's back pulsed stronger with every word spoken. The universe itself seemed to be calling her child, and she was powerless to silence it. The mystery was growing too fast, too strong, beyond her reach. The following days brought even greater fear. At night, the mother saw shapes forming beneath the child's skin, patterns of light like stars. The glow spread from the back to the shoulders, veins of light tracing through the skin. The child cried out in pain, clutching at the sheets, begging for it to stop. The mother wept silently, stroking the child's hair, promising that everything would be okay, even when she no longer believed it. One night, the glow burst suddenly into the room. The crystal wall shone bright as if struck by lightning. The child screamed, and the mother fell to her knees, her hands trembling as she tried to hold her child still. For a moment she thought the child was slipping away. Her cry echoed through. The village and neighbors came running. But when they saw the light pouring from the child's back, they stopped at the doorway, afraid to enter. The mystery had grown beyond the walls of their home. The villagers whispered louder now, some begging the elders to act, others warning that the child was a danger. The mother stood between them and her child, her body shaking but her voice fierce. "You will not touch my child," she declared, her eyes burning with fury. But even as she spoke, fear gripped her heart because she knew that something far greater than the villagers was at work. The child, exhausted, fell into sleep, the glow dimming again. The mother sat beside the bed, all night never closing her eyes. She could not stop staring at the patterns of light now etched into her child's skin. They looked like constellations, like maps of the stars themselves. And the mother realized with a shiver that whatever was growing inside her child was not of their world. It was a secret written by the universe, a mystery too vast for her to understand. She wept softly, her tears falling onto the glowing skin. Her whisper broke the silence, filled with both fear and love. "My little star, whatever you are becoming I will not let you face it alone." And as the stars above blinked coldly in the night sky, the mother knew the truth. The mystery was no longer just growing on her child's back. It was spreading through her heart, through the village, and, soon perhaps through the universe itself. The mother could no longer ignore what was happening. The glow on her child's back was not fading, it was spreading. Every night it grew brighter. Every day the child grew weaker. The villagers now watched with fear and curiosity. Their whispers were no longer hidden. They spoke openly of curses, omens, and dark fates. The mother's heart was torn. She wanted to believe her child was blessed, chosen for greatness, but fear whispered otherwise. She could not bear the thought of losing her child to the unknown. So one morning, before the suns had fully risen, she took the child's hand. Together they began a journey to the elders of the high mountains. The path was long and heavy with silence. The mother carried food and water, but her true burden was the weight in her heart. The child walked beside her, weak yet brave, clutching. Her hand tightly, every step felt like a battle, every breath a struggle. Yet neither spoke of turning back. When they reached the mountain village, the air was cold and sharp. The elders lived in ancient crystal halls carved into the cliffs by hands long forgotten. The mother knelt before them, her voice trembling but strong. "My child suffers," she said. "Something grows on the back, and I beg you for answers." The hall grew silent. The elders exchanged heavy looks, their eyes full of knowledge they had hoped never to share. One elder, the oldest among them, stepped forward. His skin glowed faintly with age, his voice deep as the caves below. "This is no sickness," he said. "This is the mark of the stars." The mother gasped, clutching her child closer. The child's eyes widened, filled with both fear and wonder. The elder explained, "Long ago, when the first of our kind walked beneath the twin suns, the universe chose some among us. They carried the star mark, a sign of change, a sign of destiny. Some became beings of light, protectors of worlds, but others turned into shadows, destroyers of life." The mother's heart froze, her arms tightening around the child as if to shield from such words. Another elder spoke, her voice softer, but no less heavy. "The mark does not lie. It is written. In the body it grows until the truth is revealed. The child will either rise as a gift or fall as a curse, and none can control it." The mother shook her head, tears spilling from her eyes. "There must be a way. Something to stop this," she pleaded, but the elders only lowered their eyes as if even they were powerless. The child looked at the glowing patterns on its skin. A strange calmness filled the young face, as though the truth had always been waiting. "Mom," the child whispered, "what if I am the shadow? What if I hurt you?" The mother grabbed the child's hands and kissed them, her tears falling like rain. "You are my light," she cried. "You could never be a shadow." The elders warned her, "If the child's glow continues to spread, the moment of transformation will come, soon. It cannot be stopped, only endured." The mother's cry echoed in the hall, shaking even the oldest stones. She fell to her knees, her hands pressed against the cold floor, her heart breaking under the truth. They left the mountain village, with no answers, only the weight of destiny on their shoulders. The journey back felt longer, the child weaker and the mother more desperate. But deep inside her pain, a spark of defiance began to grow. She whispered to herself again and again, "I will not lose my child, no matter what truth the stars have written." Her voice shook, but her spirit refused to surrender. Back in their village, the whispers grew louder. The people noticed the brighter glow on the child's skin. They demanded answers. Some even spoke of banishment. The mother stood tall, her arms spread protectively in front of her child. "No one will touch my child," she declared, her voice sharp as fire. Her love was stronger than fear, though her heart trembled with doubt. That night, as the child lay sleeping, the mother sat beside the bed. She traced the glowing marks, with her fingers feeling the warmth beneath. Her tears fell silently, but her eyes were full of fire. "If the truth is that my child will change, then I will face it," she whispered. "I will fight the stars themselves if I must." The glow pulsed once more, stronger than before. The room filled with light, casting long shadows on the walls. The child stirred in pain, murmuring softly in dreams. The mother bent close, holding the child's face gently in her hands. Her voice was steady, though her heart was breaking. You are not a curse. You are not a shadow. You are mine. And that is the only truth I will ever believe. And as the night stretched long and heavy, the mother realized the truth she carried was not the one the elder spoke of. Her truth was love, fierce and unyielding, a truth that no fate could erase. But somewhere deep inside, she also knew another truth, one she could not run from. The moment of transformation was coming, and nothing in the universe could stop it. The nights grew longer, or perhaps it only felt that way. The mother hardly slept anymore, watching her child with wide, worried eyes. The glow on the child's back had spread across the shoulders, bright lines crawling like veins of fire under the skin. Every night the light grew stronger, pulsing as though it had a heartbeat of its own. The mother's hands trembled whenever she touched it, afraid of what she might feel. The child was weaker now. Running in the fields was no longer possible. Climbing the hills was only a memory. Even walking a short distance left the child out of breath. The mother carried her child more often, though her arms ached with the weight of both body and fate. She whispered encouragements, but her voice cracked with hidden fear. The villagers watched from a distance. Some pitied the child, others feared the light. Many whispered that the family carried a curse. The mother no longer cared about their words. Her battle was greater than gossip, but deep inside she knew their fear was not wrong. Something powerful and dangerous was awakening, and soon no amount of hiding would keep it secret. One night, the breaking point came. The child woke with a scream that shook the small crystal home. The glow burst from the back, flooding the room with blinding light. The mother rushed forward, holding the child close as the body arched in pain. Her tears fell hot and fast, dripping onto the glowing skin. She whispered, "Stay with me, please. Stay with me," over and over. The child gasped, clutching the mother's arms. "Mom, it hurts. It feels like I'm breaking apart," the child cried. The mother's heart shattered, but she forced strength into her trembling voice. "No, you are not breaking. You are still you, my star, my light," she said. But even as she spoke, she felt the truth. Her child was changing. The glow spread wider, spilling into patterns like constellations across the chest and arms. Each pulse of light shook the walls, the floor, even the ground outside. The villagers gathered near the house, staring in fear and wonder at the beam shining through the windows. Some shouted for the elders, others warned of danger, but the mother shut out their voices. Her world was only her. Child's pain. The child's body trembled violently as though something inside was fighting to escape. The mother held on tighter, her arms wrapped around the shaking frame. Her tears wet the child's face, mixing with the sweat of fever. She kissed the child's forehead again and again, whispering, "I am here. I will not let go." Her voice cracked, but her grip never loosened. The sky outside responded to the storm within. The twin moons turned blood red, clouds swirled with lightning, and the rivers glowed brighter than ever. It was as if the universe itself was waiting for the child's transformation. The villagers fell to their knees, praying, shouting, begging for mercy, but the mother did not bow. She screamed at the sky instead. "Take me, not my child," she cried, her voice raw and desperate. The child screamed again, louder. The glow on the back split open slightly, light spilling like fire from a wound. The mother almost fainted at the sight, but she forced herself to stay strong. She pressed her forehead against her child's, whispering, hold on, don't leave me." Her body shook with sobs, but her love kept her anchored. Hours, felt like days, the screaming went on until the child collapsed in exhaustion. The glow dimmed, though faint light still traced the skin like burning rivers. The mother laid her child gently on the crystal bed, brushing the hair from the damp forehead. Her heart ached with both relief and terror, relief that the child was alive, terror of what was yet to come. She sat beside the bed, clutching the small hand, whispering prayers to stars that never answered. The villagers outside were restless. Some demanded that the child be taken away, claiming it was too dangerous. Others spoke of destiny, that the Child might be a savior born among them, but none dared to enter for fear of the light that had shaken the earth. The mother ignored them. Her world was smaller, focused only on the fragile life breathing before her. As dawn rose, painting the sky with pale gold, the mother's body was weak. Her eyes burned from tears, her arms ached from holding, her voice was hoarse from crying. But still, she whispered, promises. I will not let them take you. I will not let them decide your fate. You are mine, and I will fight for you. Her heart was breaking, but her spirit remained fierce. The breaking point had come, and she knew it was only the beginning. Her child was no longer the same. The light had marked a path that could not be undone. But the mother also knew something deeper, something stronger than fate. She would not surrender, not to the stars, not to destiny, not even to the universe itself. She would stand and fight no matter the cost, no matter the pain. And as the suns rose higher, the mother's eyes blazed with fire. The breaking point had not destroyed her. It had turned her into something unyielding, unstoppable, unbreakable. The night came heavy and silent. The mother sat by her child's side, her hands clasping the small fingers as though they were her only anchor. The glow had not faded. It pulsed slowly, spreading across the child's skin like rivers of light. The air around them was warm, vibrating with strange energy, as if the universe itself was breathing inside their small home. The mother's heart trembled, for she knew the moment she feared was near. The child stirred, eyes half open, shining faintly with the same light that spread across the body. Mom, the child whispered, weak but calm. I can feel it coming. The mother pressed her forehead against the child's, her tears falling without end. You are strong, my light. You are not alone. I am here, she whispered. Her voice was steady, but inside her soul was breaking. Suddenly, the glow flared. Brighter than ever before, the walls of the home shook. The crystal fire went out, leaving only the child's light. The villagers outside gasped, falling to their knees in fear, their voices trembling in prayers and cries. But the mother did not kneel. She stood tall beside her child, her arms spread as though shielding against the universe itself. Her voice rang out fierce and unyielding. You will not take my child from me. The child cried out in pain, the back arching as light burst through the skin. The mother held on, though the heat burned her hands. She did not let go, not even when her arms shook with agony. Her love was greater than her fear, stronger than her pain. Her scream joined her child's, echoing into the night. Then came silence. The child collapsed against her chest. Trembling, glowing with unbearable brightness, the mother rocked back and forth, whispering softly, her tears falling onto the glowing skin. Breathe, my star. Stay with me. Do not leave me, she begged. Her heart raced, afraid the light was stealing the child's final breath, but instead the glow changed. It was no longer violent, no longer wild. It softened into something beautiful. The lines on the child's skin shifted into shapes, constellations shining like maps of the heavens. From the back, the glow burst open one final time. And then, wings of light unfurled, vast and radiant, stretching wider than the room itself. The mother gasped, her tears halting in awe. The wings shimmered, translucent yet filled with stars, like the sky itself had been stitched into the child's body. The villagers outside cried out, some in fear, others in reverence. They saw not a curse, but something beyond their understanding. The child, trembling, looked at the mother with glowing eyes. Mom, I'm still me. The mother pressed her hands to her child's face, her tears returning with relief. Yes, you are still you, my star, my child, my light, she whispered, her voice breaking. Her heart overflowed with love, even as fear lingered in the shadows of her mind, for she knew the transformation was not just a gift, it was also a burden. The child was no longer ordinary, and the universe would not ignore this. The ground trembled as if answering her thoughts. The sky cracked with thunder, though no storm was near. The wings of light pulsed once more, and the air filled with the sound of whispers, voices not of this world. The mother clutched her child tightly, as though the voices might steal them away. But the child leaned closer, whispering softly, "Mom, I hear them. They are calling me." Her heart broke anew. "No, you will not go. You belong here with me," she cried. Her tears fell like rain, her arms tightening around the fragile, glowing body. But the child smiled faintly, a smile both innocent and ancient. "Even if they call me, I will always be your child. I will always be your light." The mother's sobs shook her body, yet pride shone in her eyes. She saw not a monster, not a curse, but a being of beauty and destiny born from her. "Love?" She kissed the child's forehead, her tears falling onto the glowing skin. "You are mine. No star, no shadow, no destiny can take you from me," she whispered fiercely. And in that moment, her cry of pain turned into a cry of strength. The villagers bowed outside, some in fear, some in worship. They saw the child not as cursed but as chosen, a being whose wings could shake the heavens. And at the center of it all was a mother's love, fierce and unbroken. A love that had endured fear, struggle, and pain, and now stood against the stars themselves. The child leaned against her, exhausted but alive. The wings folded gently, the glow dimming to a soft shimmer. The mother held the child close, rocking slowly, whispering lullabies. Into the glowing night, she knew the future was uncertain, filled with challenges and battles yet unseen. But for this moment, her child was safe. Her child was hers. The final transformation had come. It had shaken the village, cracked the sky, and tested a mother's soul. But love had not broken, and destiny had not won. The stars themselves seemed to bow before her cry. And as the night faded into dawn, the mother whispered one final promise. "No matter what you become, no matter what fate demands, you are my child, and I will love you." Beyond the end of the stars,